Hello, everybody. We didn't have the regular Thursday night shir last night because a lot of the guys were away, so we didn't end up reporting anything on the parsha. So it's right now after the Sikin. It's early in the morning here. The shul is still empty. Sunrise is just outside over there. I just wanted to tell you a brief idea from Moshe David Valley on the parsha. Something incredible about the middos of Moshe Rabbeinu. And I remember this is one of the first Ravalis I remember when I saw it some years ago, that I was so struck how he read between the lines and understood the godless, the incredible nature of Moshe Rabbeinu from the psukim over here. So we know the parsha this week is Parshas Korach, and we know that there's this tremendous machlokes, Korach and his chevra together with Dasan and Aviram, these two troublemakers from day one, going all the way back to Mitzrayim. These were two people that caused Moshe tremendous problems. And they have an uprising, they want to change things, they want to change the power structure in Klal Yisrael. And we know this tremendous machlokes ensues. So what happens is, we know Moshe Rabbeinu challenges them, and they're all together in the same place, and Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, "V'daber vayar kvod Hashem al kol ha'eda." Right? Everyone's gathered together, and the kavod of Hashem comes down. And the pasuk says, "V'yidaber Hashem al Moshe v'al Aaron leimor, hibadlu mitoch ha'eda hazos v'achala osam karega." Separate yourselves from this chevra of people. Separate yourselves from this group, and I'm going to destroy them right now. V'yiplu al paneim v'yomru. They fell on their faces and they said, "Kel el elokei haruchos, Hashem, the God of the ruchos who understands people. V'chol basar ha'ish echad yechta v'kol ha'eda tiktel." There's only one person who did an avera here, and you're going to get mad at everybody. Meaning, they feel that Moshe and Aaron are davening that yes, Korach is a rasha. Korach should be destroyed. But all the other people that are involved, why are you going to destroy them as well? And Ravali asks the question. He says, he doesn't understand this. Dasan and Aviram were tremendous Rishayim. They were really wicked people, going back all the way to Mitzrayim. These were the two people that Moshe Rabbeinu saw fighting with each other, and he told them to stop fighting. And the Torah already calls them Rishayim. Then that's where we learn a person who hits another person is a Rasha from these people. And they're the ones who told on Moshe Rabbeinu that he killed the Mitzri, and they're the ones who keep on starting up with Moshe Rabbeinu all the time. These are the two people that are causing all these problems. And now Moshe Rabbeinu, when he's davening to Hashem, he says, Hashem, you understand everybody. There's only one person here who's doing an avera. It's only Korach. Why are you going to wipe out everybody? So he says, but what about Dasan and Aviram? He says the most unbelievable thing here. He says, the very first words of the parsha is Vayikach Korach. What does Vayikach mean? Rashi says he spoke to them nicely. He was a smooth talker, Korach. He spoke to them and he bribed them, he paid them with shochad, he gave them things. In other words, Korach was like a manipulator, and he manipulated people into joining his team with bribes and smooth talking and all these types of things. So he writes like this, that ki gadol koach hashochad v'koach hadibur shema'aver afilu ha'inayim ha'pikchim. The koach, the power of bribery and the power of smooth talking, of convincing talk, are the types of things that even a good person can be led astray. And only Hashem knows. Only Hashem knows. That's why he says, Hashem, come on, you know Hashem, that these are good people over here. They've just been swayed by Korach, by his bribery and by his manipulative talk. Va'afilu dasan va'aviram. Listen what he says here. He says, this is like, you just see the godless, incredible middos of Moshe Rabbeinu. Va'afilu dasan va'aviram shahayu rishayim gemurim va'oivav shel Moshe. Even Dasan and Aviram, that they were completely wicked and they were Moshe Rabbeinu's enemies. Even here, Moshe Rabbeinu davened for them. Ki sof ba'uv dada, because in this event, in this situation, gam heim hayu b'chal ha'mefutim. In this case, they were also from the group of people that were swayed and bribed by Korach. So you just see an unbelievable thing. So many of us, when we have an opportunity to lash out at a person that we don't like, so we relish in that opportunity. Let's say there's a person that we don't like, and we have issues with them, and let's say they're takabed, they're not good people, and somebody calls us about shidduchim, wants to ask us questions about them, or should they hire them, So we're happy with the opportunity to be, you should just know this person, etc., because of all the things they've done, and they're my enemy, and I don't like them. We see the Korach of Moshe Rabbeinu's middos is the exact opposite. Even people who were wicked, and people who were Moshe's enemies, and people who caused him misery for years, and mamish, all terrible things. But in this situation, Moshe Rabbeinu said, you know what? But over here, that's not what's motivating them. This is not motivating by. I don't feel that they're being motivated by their rishus here. In this situation, they were bribed and they were manipulated by Korach and Hashem. Therefore, you should have rachmanos on them. What an amazing, amazing koach of a person, of a human being, to be able to daven for, defend, and people who I don't want to say he hated them. Moshe Rabbeinu loved everybody, but people who he had every right to hate, people who were Rishayim and were out to get Moshe time and again, and yet we see that he's able to separate that, is able to see through that and say, no, in this situation, they don't deserve it. Hashem answers him in the end. No, Hashem says, no, you're being down the kafschus, which is wonderful. I guess they're going to start the next minyan here very soon. You're being down the kafschus, which is wonderful. But no, really, they are Rishayim, and this is where their end deserves to be. And we see Moshe Rabbeinu even gives them another chance. He goes there with everybody, and he says, Suru no me'al olei anashim. He begs them. He says, Dasan Aviram, please go away. This is not your fight. Don't get involved in this. And they go out. The Koma Zakufa. They stand out there with their heads raised, and we all know what happens, that the ground opens up and swallows them up. So we see Moshe Rabbeinu's middos. We should try to learn from this. Even people that we have issues with, people that we have tainas on, even legitimately, but to try to be dan the kafschus, try to say, we generalize so often. We see a person that we don't like, and then in every situation, we see them in a negative light, and we paint them in a negative light in our mind. And chas v'shalom, when we speak about it to other people, we see that Moshe Rabbeinu was not like that. He was able to judge a person for who they were, and to try to, even in a situation where they were doing bad and had a track record, but to say, you know what, over here, I don't think they really deserve this. Anyway, we should try to learn. Have a wonderful Shabbos, everybody, and Mirz Hashem, we'll see you next week.